have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
And here we go again. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, coming at you, welcoming you back to another episode of the Genesis Frequency Podcast, where we focus on whole life prosperity, personal, professional, and leadership development. And we're going to keep it going. We talked about thinking into results. We talked with spiritual integration. We talked about effective personal leadership. And we're going to keep going and talk about what's involved into developing you within your organization or within your life as the leader you are meant to be. What kind of life are you leading? And I'm so glad you're here today. And I've talked to some of you that have reached out to talk a little bit further, to talk about what's next for you on your path. Some people that are looking to reinvent or identify even, hey, what's next? What's my purpose? What's my passion? Let's work on this mission and this vision for my life. So thank you so much for reaching out. Keep working on you. Keep coming back to this show and share it with other people. There's tremendous value here. And then when you reach out and you apply what I talk about and you take action on it, and then even when we come together and work together, either one on one or within your organization, introduce me to the decision makers and I can bring this to your workplace as well. This is very, very powerful. And this one is really, I think everything I do is for uh, you can find tremendous benefit in there as an individual. But what I'm going to talk about today is tremendous benefit too within an organization, within a ministry, within a company, within a small business, within a large business, a Fortune 500 corporation. Doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. We're going to talk about motivational leadership, inspiring people to grow and not do that through the long ago worn out ways of fear motivation. So we're going to spend a little time on that today. So thank you again from wherever you are in the world. A big shout out to all of you in the country of Brazil. Very fond of you. Got a lot of listeners down there. And, let's just keep going. Let's just keep making a better version of ourselves. So, again, if you've been with me the past few weeks, and you can always go to the genesisfrequency.com or anything on social media. I got like 15 social media pages. And, this show comes out every Thursday morning at 2 a.m. And then I spread it around on social media when I start my day. So it's out there and it's on every podcast distribution site you can imagine. So you can go back or you can go right to my website, thegenesisfrequency.com, one of my websites besides successocean.com, and check out the last two especially. Really, really, really good stuff. So you've known if you've been listening that we've been talking a lot about leadership from within, about personal mastery and vision and the power of aligning who you are with what you do. So I think last time was thinking into results with spiritual integration, and we did effective personal leadership. Doesn't matter which one was first. I'm just trying to remember, get that straight in my mind. But that was all about, before we can lead others, we have to lead ourselves, right? What kind of lives are we leading? So today, I want to go deeper. We're going to step into the next level. And when I facilitate the total leader concept, I always start with with a goal setting workshop and then move into effective personal productivity, which is all about priority management. And then I move individuals and organizations and groups and teams to effective personal leadership. Then the next step on that path is effective motivational leadership. And I'll tell you right from the start, this isn't leadership the old fashioned way. All right. This isn't about titles, control, and fear. This is leadership that inspires, leadership that draws people upward, leadership that transforms not only organizations and ministries, companies and small businesses, but individuals, beginning with you. So if you don't even consider yourself a leader in your organization, guess what? You are. As an individual, even if you don't have a team, you are a leader. You are shining your light as someone that knows how to lead themselves. And what a wonderful way to shine your light by continuing to develop your leadership skills in the right way. People will notice. I promise you that. I guarantee that. So let's be honest. That I mentioned fear-based motivation. Man, that has had its day. And you know what? It doesn't work anymore. Absolutely not. Not in this day and age. Maybe decades ago, leaders could get results by intimidating people into compliance. But fear never creates greatness. Fear may push someone to perform. If that's what you want to do, but it never awakens potential. It doesn't work long term. What you want to do is awaken potential. You can't just scare someone into creativity. You got to get that. You can't scare someone to be creative. You can't threaten someone into excellence. You can't demand innovation. It doesn't work like that. But you can inspire it. When people feel valued, when they know their work matters, when they sense that their leader genuinely believes in them, it's when energy, enthusiasm, and excellence flow freely. And that's the heart of motivational leadership. So, in this program that I'm talking about, lesson one in the effective motivational leadership program is about the responsibility that comes with leadership and the courage it takes to fulfill it. Leadership isn't about achieving goals or managing performance. It's really not. We think it is. It's about achieving goals, managing performance. Yes, that's in there, but it's really about shaping culture, developing people, calling forth greatness. And I love working with individuals and organizations to really shape that culture. Most people have no clue. How do I do that? I know the culture sucks around here. We're talking about the energy. We're talking about the paradigm. We're talking about the group think. Let's take a look at all this. We really, it really does take courage because it asks you all this development, shaping culture, developing people, calling forth greatness, the goals, the performance, all of it, priority management. It does take courage because it asks you and it asks others to go beyond comfort zones. Everybody's comfort zones, yours, theirs, people in your charge, yourself. It means having the courage to believe in others before they believe in themselves. It means having the courage to lead through example, not authority. It means having the courage to look within, to keep asking, am I motivating through love or manipulating through fear? We got to keep doing that self check on ourselves. When I first began leading teams years ago, I thought motivation came from, giving speeches, setting targets, or sometimes even pushing harder. But over time, I learned that true motivation is indeed an inside out process, just like everything else, just like every single thing I talk about on this show, living from the inside out. And true motivation is no different. It begins when people see that you care more about who they're becoming than what they're producing. And that's where the shift happens, from manager to mentor, from boss to builder, from director to developer. And you have to know the 21st century workplace is not the same as it was even a decade ago. We live in a world of rapid change. I mean, let's face it, man. We know it. We know it. Just look at the world around you right now. We have hybrid teams, remote workers, AI integration, constant innovation, endless information, really to the point of overload. People today don't follow because they have to. You got to know this. They follow because they want to. Why would they want to? Motivational leadership recognizes this. It meets people where they are and their human needs for meaning, belonging, and growth. People want to matter. And one of the looking kind of just looking over the whole program here, one of the most important ideas I think is that motivation is not something you do to people. It's something you awaken in them. Again, in alignment with living from the inside out, pointing the way. Isn't that what we're doing? Awakening it in them. It's in there. Motivation is an inner spark. It's the alignment between one's purpose and one's work. And your role as the leader is to light that spark again and again and again. But how do you do that? How do you do that? By understanding people's drives. What drives them? What are their drives? What are their values? By recognizing their contributions too, by helping them see a vision bigger than themselves and showing them how they fit into it, how they can contribute to making that happen and come to pass. So that brings us to the second lesson. We dive into this all right from the get go, right in the beginning. In the second lesson, we talk about vision and communication. I'm telling you, every great movement, every thriving organization, every growing, thriving ministry, every successful team begins with vision. You have to have that. And that vision, it must be shared. It can't be a secret. I'm working with a big organization right now that for years and years and years it's been saying we're the best kept secret in. Get out of that think. And that's what they're working to do, to get out of that think that we're a secret. We're not a secret, right? You can't motivate people towards something they can't see. So you have to talk about the vision. Your job as a leader is to paint that picture so vividly that your team can feel it, to speak about it not as a distant goal, but as a living reality they're part of creating. And communication is how you transmit that vision. It really is. That's why I have another program called Effective Communication. Communication is sorely lacking within just about every organization, ministry, company, small business, and even individuals within relationships. It is so lacking in 99.999% of everyone I talk to. It really is. And we have to learn how to communicate so we can communicate and transmit that vision. Too many leaders, I'm telling you, I see this all the time, think communication is about giving information. Well, we gave them the information. We did our part of the communication. Well, guess what? It's not. It's about creating understanding. It's about clarity, authenticity, and consistency. And so many organizations, maybe they'll hit 100 on one of these, but they're missing out on all the other ones. The words you speak, the energy you bring, the way you listen, all of these either strengthen or weaken motivation. What are you bringing? What are you bringing? Take a look at your own energy. A truly motivational leader knows that communication's never, ever one directional. It's not. It's a dialogue, a connection, a continual process of listening deeply and speaking truthfully, transparently. When your words, your own words, align with your actions, guess what? Trust grows. And where there is trust, motivation naturally follows. So as we keep moving through, and I know I'm aware of time here, but a lot of you I've talked to said, "Hey, you cut your podcast too short." No, there's nothing that says you got to keep it at 20 minutes. So I'm going to get through this today, whatever it takes here. I want to talk about so many of these lessons because they have shaped my life. I've been studying these things, these principles for decades and keeping myself updated. As I alluded to, that the times around us have also changed as well. But one of the next lessons in this program is one of my absolute favorites because it lies at the very heart of what leadership is all about, and that's developing people. You can tell by listening to 7 years, almost 8 of this show. I love to help develop people because that's what leadership is all about. Every person in your organization has unlimited potential. They really do. They might not recognize it, and they have to know that, potential is really just possibility until somebody believes in it. Someone must believe in it, believe it's possible for them, believe that the unlimited potential for within them is indeed inside them, not just for others. So many people say, well, not in me, but yeah, for other people. Yeah, I can see that. I can see their potential. Me? No, I don't see that. That's why we do a lot of work on the self-image as well. Motivational leadership is really about calling forth that hidden greatness in every individual. It's not about fixing people. We don't fix people. They're not broken. It's about seeing them rightly. It's about seeing and speaking to that potential. It's about recognizing the spark of genius within every individual and nurturing it into full expression. Charles Fillmore, I talk about a lot, the co-founder of Unity and the Unity movement I'm involved in. He once said, man is a mind and a soul and has the power to bring forth whatsoever he images in his mind and feels in his heart. Boy, that's it in one short, concise sentence. Man is a mind and a soul and has the power to bring forth whatsoever he images in his mind and feels in his heart. Motivational leadership applies that same principle, but within the workplace. When leaders create a culture where people are encouraged to imagine, to innovate, and contribute, when people are trusted to think, not just told to obey, that's when they grow. That's when motivation turns into mastery. And here's the beauty of all this. When you develop people, performance takes care of itself. It really does. It shows up. Go through any of my programs with me. I can prove it. I can guarantee it because we measure this. We measure performance and productivity and prove a return on investment in everything we do. We show you. So I'm sorry, I just get passionate and excited about all this because doing it in a certain way, in a way that is a proven process, provides results every single time when you work it, when you work the program. So let's talk a little bit about empowerment. And that because that's a word that really it gets thrown around a lot. But in the context of this program, it means something much deeper. Empowerment means entrusting others with real responsibility and then believing they can rise to it. Because that's more than anything else. Okay, you're going to be responsible for this. This is yours. Own it. But I believe you can rise to this challenge. You can meet this. It's not about dumping tasks. So many people think it's just about delegating. Dump this off on so and so. They're not doing nothing. No, that's not how we look at people. Remember, we're speaking to their infinite potential. It's about transferring trust. Transferring trust. Get that. Motivational leaders don't micromanage. This isn't about micromanaging, keeping an eye. Are they getting that task done I dumped on them? No. Motivational leaders, they mentor. They don't control, they coach. When you empower someone, you say, I see your potential. I trust your judgment. I believe you can handle this. And what happens next? I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, they rise to the occasion because you've awakened their self trust. And they're really feeling good. Hey, I matter. I've been given this piece, man. I'm going to own this. And then they're at the point, I'm going to prove him or her right. I am. Delegation isn't just about dividing work, it's about multiplying growth. Get that. Delegation isn't just about dividing work, it's about multiplying growth. That should really resonate with you as a leader, multiplying growth. When people are empowered, they become engaged, they take ownership, and engagement is the soil in which motivation thrives. So let's talk about leading this change in your own organization, learning how to do this in a certain way, working with me and talking to me and having a conversation with me about bringing this to your organization. And it does come down to changing the way you're doing things, changing the way you're developing yourself and the leadership within your organization, developing all the individuals in your organization. Change is one of the constants of modern leadership and one of the greatest tests, too, of motivation. Did you know that most people resist change because they fear loss, the loss of security, loss of identity or control? But a motivational leader reframes change as opportunity. Change is not the enemy of stability. It's the pathway to evolution. When leaders model confidence and optimism, when they help people see that the unknown, because that's really what they're afraid of, right? The unknown. Haven't been there before, haven't done this before. When we can help people see that the unknown could be a place of growth rather than danger, that's when transformation happens. As I often say in my leadership programs, your energy as a leader sets the emotional thermostat of the entire organization. You probably heard me say that before. That's why I want to slow down and make sure you get it. Your energy as a leader sets the emotional thermostat of the entire organization. Think about that. Your culture is the emotional thermostat. Where is it set? If you radiate calm confidence, Your team feels safe to adapt. I love that word radiate, coming from a heating and cooling background. And, we think of radiators, right? And that's what we're doing, is it especially ties in with emotional thermostats. We're radiating. We radiate a calm confidence, and our team feels safe to adapt. If we radiate fear or frustration, well, that energy spreads like wildflower, wildfire. I get excited. You know me. I get my tongue tied. I get my tongue tied around my eye tooth, and I can't see what I'm saying. But oh, that's terrible. All right. Motivational leadership means leading change with composure, with clarity and conviction, grounded in vision and guided by purpose. So let's bring all this down to something very practical. The greatest motivational tool any leader has is their own example. And I'm always talking about modeling and demonstrating. Model and demonstrate, model and demonstrate, model and demonstrate, model and demonstrate. People watch you, okay? They notice how you respond to pressure, how you speak about others, how you handle mistakes. If you want a team that takes initiative, you take initiative. If you want a culture of positivity, you live from positivity. If you want people to grow, show them that you are still growing. Invest in you, invest in your team. You can't motivate others to reach for higher ground if you're standing still yourself. Model and demonstrate, model and demonstrate, model and demonstrate. Motivational leadership begins with personal congruence, the alignment between what you say, what you do, and who you are. I talk about that in my episode on praxis not too long ago. Go back and find that. Listen to that again and again and again and again. You want to be in that alignment, that personal congruence. That's why effective personal leadership always comes first. It's the foundation. Because the moment your inner world and your outer world are aligned, your influence, your influence expands exponentially. And I want to talk, me, I want to talk about the spiritual edge, that slight edge, the spiritual edge of motivation. And I can't help but bring in that spiritual dimension to everything that I do. Because real motivation isn't just psychology, it's energy. And that's what we're talking about here. At the heart of this is consciousness. It's all consciousness. Right there at the center. Motivation flows from the inside out. Can't say that enough. From purpose, from meaning, from spirit, from a contribution to the vision fulfilled. People can feel your energy. That's what culture is. I talk about it all the time. People feel the energy when he walks in the room, when she walks in the room. Wow. When you walk into a place, a business, man, it feels good in here. Or man, sometimes you can't get out of there fast enough, can you? People can feel whether you are genuinely caring about them. They can feel whether you genuinely care, whether you're inspired, or whether you're just managing and going through your day. Motivational leadership isn't about, I mean, it's not about going your day and doing something by the book, right? And doing it right. Motivational leadership is about transmitting energy. That's what I'm talking about here. Transmitting energy, the frequency of belief, enthusiasm, and possibility, and the frequency of knowing that that potential within you and within others is infinite. When you walk into a room centered, clear, and enthusiastic, you elevate everyone around you. You do. Maybe you're not aware of it all the time. Whatever your thermostat is set at, people in the room will tend to gravitate to that and try and strive to match it. You want to elevate it. As a leader, you want to elevate that energy. That's zeal. That's the enthusiasm. That's the spiritual power of enthusiasm we've talked about before. And zeal, tempered with wisdom, well, that becomes contagious. That's what we're talking about here. It becomes a contagious force that awakens creativity and commitment in others. So you want to build a culture of motivation. That's what we're talking about here throughout your organization, throughout your family, throughout your life. The Effective Motivational Leadership program teaches that motivation isn't a one time event, it is indeed a culture. It's built through recognition, communication, growth, and shared purpose. In a motivated culture, people don't come to work just to earn a paycheck. Is that what you want? They come because they feel part of something bigger. And that's what every great leader provides, a sense of purpose and belonging. When people know that their contribution matters, when they feel seen, when they feel heard, they bring their whole selves to the mission. Now that's when excellence becomes natural. That's when innovation flourishes. That's when results soar. Not because of pressure, not because of fear, but because of passion. And let's real quick talk about the future of all this, the future of leadership, because where's all this heading? Where's your next leader going to come from? Where's your next group of leaders going to come from? They have to be developed. The future of leadership belongs to those who can inspire, not intimidate. Start developing your people now. Start sharing this now. Start training and developing and influencing your next group of leaderships now. Make leadership a culture. We're moving we're moving quickly from command and control to connect and collaborate, from fear to faith, from compliance to commitment. The leaders who thrive in this new era, I'm telling you, are the ones who develop people, not just systems. Let me help you develop your people. Let us come in here and build a development program. People, leaders that thrive in this new era understand that human potential is the greatest asset any organization has. And that motivation, that motivating energy you carry, that motivating factor that you bring in the right way is the key to unlocking all of this. This program I'm talking about, been talking about, Effective Motivational Leadership, is designed to equip leaders like you with the mindset, the tools, and the principles to do just that. So I want to give you a personal invitation. We're going to wrap this up here. I know I have gone way over, but talking to you, you're saying, go, just keep going. I can always come back. If I got something else to do, I can press stop and continue on. So hope you're doing that. Hope you're listening over and over again because it's repetition that causes retention. If you've been listening today or to any of these other shows and you're saying, Stephen, this is exactly what I need for myself, for my team, for my organization, then this is your call to action. I'd love to personally invite you to join me for our next Effective Motivational Leadership cohort. Over the course of 8 transformational lessons, we'll work together and I'll help you become the kind of leader who inspires genuine motivation, not through pressure or authority, but through purpose, presence, and empowerment. And I'm telling you, you'll discover how to motivate others by understanding their deepest drives, communicate vision with passion and clarity, build trust and engagement through empowerment, develop future leaders who multiply success, and lead change with courage, composure, and confidence. Whether you're leading a small team, a ministry, or a large organization, this program will help you create a culture where people love to give their best because they feel seen, they feel valued, and inspired. So don't wait. Reach out today, okay? I'm calling you to reach out, whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's this or something else in your life or some extraordinary accomplishments to take you to the next level. Let's talk about how you, your team, your organization can benefit from this powerful leadership experience and the personal and leadership and spiritual development that I do. So let's wrap this up today with a reminder. I want to remind you that the heart of motivational leadership is love in action. It really is. Shake your head. I don't care. It really is. It's love in action. It's about caring enough to help people grow. It's about believing in the best in others and in yourself. When you lead from that place, when your leadership becomes a living expression of purpose, vision, and faith, you'll discover something extraordinary. Motivation becomes effortless. Because when people feel safe, seen, and inspired, they don't need to be pushed. They'll run with you. That's how we build better teams, better organizations, and a better world. Thanks for listening, my friends. Reach out, Stephen at successocean.com. That's Stephen with a PH. Get on my calendar, successappointment.com, and let's continue the conversation. Until next time, you've been listening to the Genesis Frequency Podcast with Dr. Cause and Effect. That's me, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, and I'm reminding you to stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep becoming the leader you are created to be. I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.